45 seconds to live.
Make sure you remember the name of the lake.
Lesni Vila. Welcome to my house, Rumpy Buckle. We're back. We're headed over to the Czech Republic today. We're going to go to Lesni Vila Fishery. And we have a mission over there. We're going to look for the European perch. We're going to look for the silver bream, the Prussian carp, and the common roach. Small fish, panfish. So the most important thing there is our hook size when we go over there. I'm loaded up to go. We'll go check our inventory real quick. I want to go over what we might be going with here today. And everybody should have leveled up from the last video. So we should be at a point where we got a new pole. We went with the ultralight in the last video. We had that one, and we had our flipping stick. It broke the wild buffalo broke our line on so many times, and now we needed to have a new pole. So you should have been able to go over there. The next pole that should have been in line for you is a feeder pole. It was the all-around 1210, and a feeder pole you can use two different ways. It comes with either a mesh basket, and where you can load up ground bait. That gets unlocked at levels 3 and levels 12. So you would probably have a ground bait actually unlocked at this point. If you went over there and looked at your ground baits, right here you get one at level 2 if you're going to pay the gold. 480 get you one at level 3, and then level 12 you get active feeder good. Now it's a different type of fishing. It's something I'm going to go over. I have another video that'll explain everything about ground feeding, your mixtures. It gets a little bit complicated, but it's fun and it works. So we'll do another video about that. You'll be ready to go, and you can utilize that fishing technique. So today we're going to replace that feeder cage with a sinker. We're going to basically turn our feeder pole into a bottom rod. And the big thing here, number 8 hooks. So like I said before, I use my gold. We fish with barbless hooks. That's big XP, bigger XP than the regular hooks. So that's our new pole. And you should have been able, at this point, to have got yourself a rod stand. So we have I brought it, I kept this. This was the one that I first got when I started the game. And this is a dual stand rod stand. Doesn't have any bite alarms, and you can't stick it in a dock anywhere. It's basically for in the ground. It's got prongs on it. I learned that the hard way when I went down to the Everglades and had to be stuck fishing with one pole because my rod wouldn't go in the dock. Something to remember. We'll talk about that. So we're ready to go. Let's go ahead, get yourself a license. The weather forecast looks pretty good. We're going to have ourselves a peak right off the bat, so we should be able to catch these fish pretty quick. Get yourself an advanced license, and I will meet you over at Lesni Vila. And we're here. Lesni Vila Fishery, Czech Republic. And we can take a look at it again. It'll give us a little bit of story of where we're at. This is the other side. This is where we're going to fish at today. This is the fishing for the European perch and northern pike that are in here. It's a great fishing spot. Like I said, for each spawn-in point, you can click on them, come up, read a little bit about the fish that you can pull out of here. I have a little honey pole over here, and we're going to find that. We're going to fish out of there, and we should be able to get all of our fish in one spot. So we're going to go over here to the other side. Let's go fishing. Now, we're not going to fish right here at the dock. We're going to come down here to the right. And I have some markers out here already. But what I want to show you guys today is what we want to do. I hope I didn't go too far. I think it's right about here. I want to show you how to use your markers, because you should have a couple of marker buoys. So we're going to look out at towards the little house over there, where we're going to pull our map up. All right. Now, on the map, where we want to fish, and you can use your plus and minus signs, keys to zoom in and bring up your map. And so this little hole right here, I know where it is, but I want to put some markers out there so you guys can see kind of the perspective that you need from the bank on where to throw it. So we're gonna increase this as far as we can go. Now your markers down here is where it keeps track of how many markers you got, and you could, like I said, these cost gold, and you get them when you. So we should have a couple, like 4 or 5 or 6 here by now by completing the last 2 missions. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set markers so we know our boundary marks of this hole. So you hit the plus sign here. And the first thing it normally does is ask you if you want to mark the last fish that you caught. But we haven't caught any fish yet. And this is a good way to do this on any lake. If you've been to the lake the first time, pull up your map, look at where you think the good hole is at, and at least mark the middle of the hole so you know it. So we're going to mark the actual boundary marks here. So we're going to put one here, which is good. And up here, you can click here and name it what you want. So we're going to say this is a hole boundary. So we know, whoops, we know when we come back here, and it's been renamed, and now we'll go back. And now we'll set another one on this side. So we got a straight line there. We'll get him right on the edge, and boom, we'll put him there. And again, so now we've successfully marked. We can come back out. We know where our hole is, and if we look now, we can see we have the one on the left, one on the right, and we're going to be fishing that deep hole right between the two, and we should be able to get everything that we need. So that's with the 9 key. Now let's put our rod stand down, and we can move it around now and adjust it to where we're going to be throwing out there, so we can come up closer to the bank. Now I found out in the beginning, I used to do the same thing I would think in real life. I put my rod stand as close to the bank as you can. That's not necessarily what you want to do all the time, because you could lose some fish. If you're back farther, a little bit farther away, you don't have to. It In this game, it works a lot better. You won't lose so many fish right up close to the bank, and it gives you a better angle at where you want to shoot. So I think that looks pretty good right there in the middle. So we'll pull out our first pole, and we're going to fish here today mostly bloodworms or redworms. I think we'll be able to get everything on the bloodworms. So I've loaded the first pole up with bloodworms. I want to check to make sure. All right, let's get one out there, and we'll throw one out. And again, shift 1 will put your rod down in the first location. And then you can pull out with your number key. Oh, that was in our, see now, he was in my 3rd slot. So when I hit the 3rd key, I need to find out where my other machine is at. He's in the 2nd one. So now we have him. Let's check our leader. 63. We're a little deep. I'm going to bring this up to about 48 inches on this, 46 I mean. And we'll just throw somewhere right back out there between those two, somewhere in this vicinity. Now I saw some fish jump over here, so we'll pick the end of that hole. And we have a nibble already. And we'll put this down in our 2nd slot, and we'll pick up our first one. We'll see what we've got. And there's our Prussian carp. So we have him, number 1 off the list. We'll keep him. We'll go back out, maybe move just, oh, there's a little bit jumping over there, so maybe we'll move to the left. Put in right at the beginning of the hole. One of the things I wanted to talk about in this video today, because we had talked in the last video so much about how important the drag is. And for you guys and gals that are just starting out, I wanted to, my granddaughter was here today, and she was watching the earlier videos, and I've taken her fishing many times. And she said to me, "Pap, you never showed me about that drag stuff on a real fishing pole." And I could have knocked her off the chair. She didn't pay attention. So I thought it might be a good idea. Got an old Shakespeare here. This is about an 8-pound reel, spinning reel. No line set up on there. It's a drag on most spinning reels, and the drag is how strong that fish can pull. The drag on this reel is in the very front. Most reels it's either right there. Now some reels will give it to you. It'll be a knob on the reverse side of the reel. This is a knob on the front, giving you pretty good access to get to it while you're fighting a fish like we do here in the game. But this is set very tight. So if I loosen the drag up, it now pulls. We got a fish on over there. Maybe we should get him. And there's a tench. And we're going to need him in the next mission, but not this one. But we know where to find him now. So oh, now what happens? We missed a fish while we were talking about. See how that bobber moved all the way? I threw it clear over here. It's all the way over here. Why didn't somebody tell me I had a fish on? Back to this and then we'll get out of the way. So now I've lightened it up a bit. You can pull it. So when I said about the buffalo, this is only 8-pound test. If I have my drag turned all the way up and I get an 11-pound fish hit that, he's going to snap that line. Let's go get this fish. And there's our common roach. We needed him, right? Yes, we did. He was one of the fish on the list. Let's open up with the Y key, our fish net. So we have the Prussian carp, the tench wasn't on our list, and now we have the common roach. We're making good progress. So we'll throw him back out again. And what I want to do is fix that other rod, because I missed it totally. And he may have taken the bait. So we want to make sure that we actually have a red worm out there and it's not just sitting there as a bare hook. And he did, because it dropped down. Now if you look up in the top right, that tells you how many red worms you have left, how many of that particular bait. So when I pulled it in, it went down to 119. If you pull it in and it stays at 119, you're good. You saved your bait. All right, we're back in there. So the point where I was saying in the last video that I was going to try to land that buffalo on light line like this is a breaking, but if you turn it way down, it's very easy for that big fish to pull your line without breaking it. Now it's going to be very hard to reel in, so you play with the drag until the fish gets tired. Once he's tired, he won't fight no more. You can pull an 11-pound fish in on 6-pound test, 4-pound test, if you fight him long enough. And we have another fish. We've got 2. So there is our European perch that we needed. And let's see if we can just snag this last one. and that is the silver bream. So we've got the European perch, the silver bream, the Prussian carp, and the common roach. Mission complete. Gotta love it when a plan comes together. So we'll be back. Don't forget to watch my next video because we're going to have some maintenance costs to do at the end of this one. I've been saving that up. So the next video is going to start actually as soon as this one ends, and we're going to talk about the cost of the nets, your backpacks, your rod gear, and what that costs, and so you can get a good idea. It's like I had said before in the earlier videos, it's quite a bit of money. So when you go out there, you need to stay long enough to make your travel costs back, that travel and that license, and then you always got to remember you're going to have repair. The more you balance your lines towards the gear and the fish that you're going after, the less that wear and tear will be. However, if you want, like I said before, if you want to go get XP points and farm those big fish on light gear, you're going to make a lot of money. But at the end, you're going to kick out a little bit of that till. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. And you're fishing with Uncle Buck.